Hey, what's up, everybody? We are on two platforms at the moment. What's up, YouTube? What's up, IG? So I'm going to do my best to balance between the two and make sure I've got some eye connection with everyone on here. Really short but to the point, important conversation about alibis, alibis, and we have as high achievers, we have gotten so good at creating alibis to explain away our failures. Now, what does this mean? Well, let me give you a couple examples. As a young athlete, I was taught very early on by adults. And by adults, we're talking about coaches and parents and other parents and any adults that in and around sport. They did a good job of teaching us athletes how to explain away our failures. It wasn't that we weren't good enough to have won the game. It was the referee screwed you because they made a bad call, or the coaches, they didn't know what they were doing in the game. They didn't make very good calls, or it was the other team. They were cheating. They were playing so dirty. That's why you guys lost. And so we got really good at explaining away our failures and not taking ownership and responsibility for our failures, for not playing well. So instead of being taught that, hey, you know what, we were not at our best and here's where we can get better and this is how we can improve, it was always somebody else's fault. It was the quarterback's fault because he didn't play very well, or it was the point guard because she, made some bad passes that got stolen to the game-winning shot. Always blaming someone else, creating alibis as the reason why you were not successful. So, hold on, quick adjustment there. So the challenge is those alibis have been then carried into our life. They've continued to grow. So let's just follow the thread here. So schooling, it was, well, I didn't get a good grade because the teacher doesn't like me. Or the teacher favors somebody else, or I didn't get into that college because, well, I'll give you my example. So I was lightly recruited out of high school in track and field by Notre Dame. This, we're talking in the 90s, like Notre Dame, are you kidding me? Let's go. So I applied to Notre Dame and talking with the track coaches, and they're like, yep, let's get your application in. I work with my counselors in the school to really put together a really awesome acceptance letter or application letter and all that, just golden package to golden Notre Dame. I sent that sucker off and I didn't get accepted. Notre Dame said, no, thanks. So now I had to go tell people, because I've been fired up. I've been telling people I'm applying to Notre Dame. Now I had to go explain to them that I wasn't accepted. I didn't do it that way. My ego would not allow me to do that. So what I do instead, I created alibis. You know what? They weren't going to give me enough scholarship money to come run over there, which they were not offering me any to begin with. Or I was really coming up as a football player, and the truth was I really did want to go continue to play football, which Notre Dame was not recruiting me for. So it was, I wanted to play football, and they didn't want me to play football. So I was planting these alibis, not taking ownership and saying, look, I just was not good enough. And that's what's really important, is just to say, in accepting that I suck. I'm sucking right now. And not that I'm a bad person, not that I was a bad student, not that I was a bad athlete. This just wasn't the right fit. Or I'm just not there yet. I could have gone junior college route and then maybe applied in a couple of years, but that wasn't the case. So we explain away your failures, then those habits then get developed far into our life, well beyond schooling, well beyond our adolescent years. And now we've solidified our ability to use alibis to explain away our failures. So now as high achievers, we are so controlled by our ego. Another example. So I then got into entrepreneurship. Once I got my first taste of entrepreneurship, I'm like, yep, I'm all in. And I didn't ask for help. I didn't know any entrepreneurs. I had no mentors. I just was like, I'm going to go make a bunch of money and then show everyone like, hey, ta-da, like, look how good I am. It doesn't work that way. Believe me, I tried and I failed miserably. And yet people would ask me along the way, like, hey, how's business going? What would I say? It's going great. We got this project going on. We didn't. Or I'm working on this deal. I had no deals. Or I've got a couple customers who have said maybe. no contract, no deposits, no money in hand. A maybe was a no. And yet I would talk about these maybes as if they were already done deals. So instead of saying, you know what, I am not selling very well, I'm not presenting very well, I'm not closing anything, I'm really sucking right now, I created alibis as to explain away, they're just not a right fit, or they're not ready yet. Just using things. My ego is just like, I cannot look embarrassed. I cannot look like I don't have my shit together. I cannot be in a position where someone's going to make fun of me or ridicule me or not want to be around me because I'm a failure. But for whatever reason, I created those alibis. So as you continue to use these alibis and not take responsibility, you're going to further yourself, distance yourself from the goals that you really want, because we have to learn to take responsibility. Otherwise, we are going to bury ourselves and ultimately come to that time in our life where the biggest alibi of our life is going to be staring us down right in the middle of our face, and that's the mirror. At the end of your life, and this was a huge kickstart for me. This is what scared the shit out of me, was looking in the mirror at the end of my life and having to say to myself, if I only had the courage to do what I really wanted to do in my life. But instead, I made excuses as to why I couldn't do it. If you have a dream, my friend, if you have a message, if you have a desire, if you want to grow your business, if you want to have a thriving business and a thriving relationship and thriving health and well-being, and you're fit and you're looking good and you're feeling good, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. And you're going to try to use all the alibis in the world to explain away. I'm so busy at work. That's why I can't work out as much. Alibi. Or, gosh, I'm not making enough money, so I can't go on date nights with my wife. Alibi. Or, I'm so caught up with the children. And I take the kids to school, and I've got to take them to piano lessons and sports, and I can't focus on my business very much. Alibi. Alibi, alibi, alibi. Or my customers are just not following up. They're not buying enough. Those are all alibis. It's on you. You've got to take responsibility. And until you do, you're going to feel the suffering. You're going to feel the pain. And you're going to be prepared to staring at yourself in the mirror down the road and asking yourself, what if? What if I actually had the courage to own it? What would my marriage have looked like? What would my relationship with my children had looked like had I not used business as a reason, my busyness in business as the reason as to why I couldn't invest in those areas? Or now you have high blood pressure, got heart disease, you have cancer, things that you could have done a better job of taking care of yourself during your lifetime. Staring those things down are much more difficult. Those are difficult times. And we got to stop making excuses, using these alibis to explain away our failures. So as I leave you with this, here's the thing. It is not easy to take responsibility and ownership. You have to build a foundation of honesty and truth as to where you're at in the present moment. I don't give a shit about your past. I don't care what you think the future is. In the present moment, where are you? What are you feeling? What are you experiencing? And that's hard. That's hard to sit with that. However, it's not impossible by any means. What you need is a mentor. You need a coach. You need a playbook to support you in that. I'm here to help and support. BeTheTorch.com, or obviously you can leave comments and messages there. You can DM me. What can I do to support you? Let's get rid of those alibis. It is freeing when you are able to take ownership of things and take responsibility, and that vulnerability. You'll be amazed at the customers you begin to attract into your life, the employees who you've been dying to recruit. All of a sudden, the frequency that you're giving off. I'm no longer using, I'm taking ownership responsibility. People are attracted to that. That's attractive. They're going to want you. They want to be in your business. They're going to be in your life. They're going to want to be better connected with you. If you're single, you're going to attract the right individual that values ownership and responsibility, the person you've been craving. But instead of hiding behind your alibis, you're being open and honest. You're going to attract those people. Or if you're in a relationship, you can better reconnect with the individual that you are with currently. So thank you for listening. Thank you for checking in. If you're watching this on replay, I appreciate it. Again, bethetorch.com. And I'd love to connect and let's chat. Let's get you getting rid of those alibis.